Meteorologist Mike Griffith with East Coast Weather Association. It is Tuesday, the 20th of June, 2017. Happy early morning out there, everybody. And we're looking at the infrared satellite image across the United States. Looking at the east here, this is Invest 93L. It could get named, it might have got named by now to Cindy. This is going to be a tropical storm. A very, very disorganized one. There's a lot of environmental shear in the Gulf, which is going to keep this thing from getting really tightly wrapped up. And it's going to just kind of drift up into Louisiana in the next 2 or 3 days or so. New Orleans is going to be feeling the effects of the heavy, heavy rains from this. There's going to be some flooding across New Orleans and Lake Pontchartrain. So we're going to have to watch that situation very carefully and make sure that the levees are going to hold with all this rain that's coming in here. A lot of people forget that in Katrina, it wasn't the wind that damaged things, it was the water. So we are going to have to watch this system, this tropical storm, where it makes landfall. More than likely, it's going to be somewhere along the Louisiana coast, maybe the Texas-Louisiana border. But I think that this thing is starting to get a little indicative of moving kind of in this general vicinity right now in the next 2 or 3 days or so as the system gets wrapped up. It's bringing a lot of tropical moisture up from the Yucatan and from the tropics, and it's very, very cloudy and rainy and miserable. The cold front that moved through and brought severe thunderstorms to much of Pennsylvania, and a couple of tornadoes reported here in eastern Pennsylvania. There was one in Lebanon County, Robesonia, I think, which is a town way out there in the hills. And also in Berks County, there's some pictures floating around of a tornado touching down. And we're going to have to look at the storm reports and see if those were confirmed either later today or tomorrow. And the front is getting stalled with all the tropical moisture down here in the southeast United States. So this rain is not going anywhere for a while. The next 2 or 3 days at least, maybe even longer. Lots of flooding setting up across the Florida Panhandle and into Georgia, Atlanta, getting a lot of the rains, the I-85 corridor into Charlotte and even into Raleigh. Expect a lot of rain and flooding and travel delays across the southeast United States for the next at least 2 or 3 days, maybe even longer. Out here in the desert southwest, there's a huge heat wave going on right now. Kind of a special thing to see clockwise rotation with storms because this is so hot. It's just a lot of convective activity bubbling up in the atmosphere and creating thunderstorms here in the border between Mexico and the U.S. Let's take a look at the models and see what they're forecasting here for us over the next week or so. Here comes this big energy upper level trough, which is going to keep things a lot cooler today in the United States, in the eastern part of the states. So waking up to some cooler weather, although not really that pleasant. Maybe some sunshine up around Philly and D.C. and New York and up to New England. But we're not really looking at a whole lot of sunshine down here in the southeast United States. Cindy will start to take an eye towards New Orleans. Very heavy rain breaks out across eastern Louisiana today, and we're across the Panhandle of Florida and up into Georgia. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on this system here. And then this storm just kind of sits there and moves very slowly over Louisiana. Not good for lots of the southeast United States here because of the flooding that's going to be unfolding over the next 2 or 3 days. Now we're looking into Wednesday. The storm still is just kind of sitting there and dumping a ton of rain over the Gulf states in the south. Through Wednesday and Thursday this week, it doesn't look like the storm does much of anything, moves inland and just becomes a tropical depression once again, and even just a wave or just a blob of rain after that. Not a big deal. And very unsettled weather across much of the east of the Mississippi here with showers and storms. This is just going to be a area of a lot of flooding rains up in here. Charlotte, looking at Virginia, even up in D.C., but we're looking at Tennessee, Kentucky, and down in the Mississippi and Alabama getting all the flooding this whole week. It's going to be the trend. This whole week is just going to be the flooding. So we can expect a lot of that this week. And here comes another upper-level energy feature coming through next weekend or so. And looking at Saturday and Sunday, another powerful cold front moves through on the 25th, and then it takes all this muck and all this yuck and all this flooding finally out to sea after a week of it being around in the southeast. It's just going to be a miserable week ahead into the weekend. But then on Sunday and the Monday, another cold front moves through and kind of sweeps that all out to sea. Hopefully, we'll see about that. If this excuse me, if this upper level trough can actually force all this rain and low clouds out to sea, this high pressure area here for Sunday and the Monday and the next weekend, and looking like it's going to be around for a week, all this rain and this miserable stuff, and then hopefully it gets kicked out of here by another upper level feature on Sunday and the Monday next week. There could be another round of severe thunderstorms coming around the 25th. Anytime between the 24th, 25th, 26th could be another round of severe thunderstorms. Again, thinking that'll be mostly limited to the northeast states if it comes through at the right time of day. Other than that, it's just going to be a lot of wind, maybe a little bit of wind, but mostly heavy rains from that severe threat into next weekend, into early next week. But most likely, just looking at a ton of rain across the southeast.